Hi all, welcome to our channel.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Chantal.
And we are Teacher Mom and Dad. Before we start this video, if you could hit the like, subscribe, and share.
So what are we talking about tonight?
Tonight we're talking about pregnancy.
Yeah, we were just about to go to bed and we just felt the urge to talk about this really pressing journey. So Greg is going to have some questions for me and I'm going to answer them as honest as possible.
Tell us about when you found out you were pregnant.
Okay. So it's too personal. All right, I'm going to say it, okay? I was going to the bathroom and looking for my period to come. But it didn't come. But I kept getting spots. You know, like a drop of blood here, a drop of blood there. So I thought something was wrong. So I tried to get an emergency appointment with a gynecologist and none was available. So I called around and I finally found one that was not too far away who were still taking appointments because it was December, it's almost Christmas holiday. They were booked. We finally found this one doctor. Actually, we didn't find a doctor.
Didn't you ask your mom?
Yeah, my mom recommended me. And I was like, I don't want to use the same doctor my mom has. She's going to be all up in my business, right? But that was the only choice I had and I needed an appointment like right away. So I went in, and whenever you go to a gynecologist or an emergency room, you're a woman, you don't know what's wrong with you. They always take a pregnancy test. So one of the first, yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, it depends on your symptoms. If it's like vaginal related, you throwing up, any symptom of pregnancy, they're going to take a pregnancy test just to make sure. Because what if they start to give you medication that might hurt your baby? So they have to make sure you don't have a baby inside of you before they give you all these different types of medications.
Makes sense.
That's why they always ask, when was your last period?
Mm-hmm.
So I left work.
We work in the same building, by the way.
Yeah. I was like, I'll be right back. I went to his class to get the key. So I drove there and went in there. I wasn't too nervous because I knew nothing was wrong with me, but I didn't think I'd be pregnant. He didn't do a pregnancy test. He did the little sonogram thing. And he was like, well, no. Before he did the sonogram, he was like, well, maybe you're pregnant. And I was like, he's like, how would you feel if you were pregnant? And I was like, that'd be pretty cool. He rubbed the thing over my belly and he was like, well, there you have it. You're pregnant. And I was like, for real? I started cheesing so hard like this. And of course I wanted to tell Greg, but he was in class teaching. That didn't stop me though. As soon as I put my clothes back on, I called him and he didn't answer. So I texted him. What did I say? I'm pregnant.
Yeah. And I remember.
I said, I'm pregnant. 5 weeks.
I don't remember all of it, but I just remember getting a text message and just being like, oh snap. Like, just like a deer in headlights. And in the middle of class, and like, I couldn't even teach for the rest of the day. I was just so excited. Like, oh my goodness, like she's pregnant. So after you let me know that you were pregnant, what did we do?
Well, I came back to the school and I came to your classroom and we were just staring at each other cheesing.
We didn't even tell anybody, huh?
No, we didn't tell anyone.
Definitely not.
We waited until like we had another appointment. I told my co-teacher though, like a few days later, because when I was in class, I kept sitting down and I kept like being careful. I kept feeling nauseous. So I let her know just because it was affecting the job. But she was pretty excited for me. Thanks. Then oh yeah, we waited a few weeks. Um, and then we told my mom. How did we tell her?
We took the sonogram pictures and we put it behind her on the bed when she was standing up, and she turned around and was like, "What's this?" She thought it was fake at first, though. I think she thought it was like a Google image or something.
Yeah, she was like, "You got it from Google," because I think we tricked her before.
Yeah.
She definitely didn't believe us this time. But I mean, she had to. The baby came. So when I went in to get my sonogram done, the first one, the lady before me, her name was still on the little computer thing, and the doctor printed my baby's picture with her name on it. So my mom didn't even believe it was mine. She was like, "It has somebody's name on it. Who's that?"
You got it from Google.
Terrible. It was very old. We found out like December 5th.
Okay. And then, for whatever reason, you're right. We did find out after.
Yeah, but we were in
Chicago.
Oh,
but then we went to South Africa while you were pregnant.
Yes, so we went to South Africa and I was 5 weeks pregnant. Oh my goodness. So usually when we go hiking, we do Table Mountain, we do this other mountain, our favorite mountain, and a whole bunch of different activities.
And this year we had what, like eight or nine people?
It was like 9 people with us this time. And I stayed home in the Airbnb the entire time. They had fun. They went hiking. They ate.
Yeah, we did everything without her. Everybody was like, "Well, where's Chantal? She's just not feeling well."
I was just like, "I'm sick."
And she was like the point person. All the people that came knew her. They didn't know me, but I'm here leading all the activities, and they're like, "We still haven't even seen her yet." What?
But the good thing is, I was available because I had my phone on me the whole time, so I was able to text people back and forth.
But yeah, but we still had fun. She was nauseous like the whole trip.
Oh my goodness! And me and one of my friends went wine tasting in South Africa. Me being 5 weeks pregnant. The lady was like, "You're not gonna have any?" I was like, "Nah, I'll just have some water." But my friend, she knows I don't drink, so it wasn't unusual for me to not take any wine. But she was like, "Just take a sip. I just want you to taste it. To just taste it different." And I had to tell her. I was like, "No, I'm not drinking any." So eventually, I told her it was a beautifully bright, sunny day. We were standing on a balcony overlooking lush green rolling hills.
I wasn't there.
It was so romantic. We each had a glass of wine in our hands. Well, I had a glass of water. And I popped the news to her. I was like, "I'm pregnant." She didn't believe me. She didn't believe anything. She usually doesn't believe anything I say.
All right, so we come back from South Africa. It was wonderful. Besides you being nauseous, what changed at home, like in terms of routine?
I don't know.
Did you eat different?
Oh yes. So, you guys know I'm a vegetarian, but that doesn't mean that I'm eating vegetables every day. One thing I was very thankful for was that every morning, almost every single morning, Greg made me fruit smoothies and vegetable smoothies, and he did juices. That little press, what is that called? A juicer. He made me drink celery juice, spinach, kale juice. I didn't even know kale could make juice.
Cucumber juice,
strawberry juice. Oh my gosh, I had every fruit juice. But I never got sick. And the baby never got sick either. So I guess it worked.
But the doctor recommended that she eat some meat. And obviously we continued to opt against it and, make sure that she ate the proteins that she needed.
Remember we tried to find a doctor who was like vegetarian and vegan friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I got recommended to this doctor by our boss at the time because she just had a baby, and her doctor was she was vegetarian when she was pregnant, and so was her doctor. So her doctor was able to, make the appropriate dietary recommendations to her. My doctor, on the other hand, was this old school Caribbean man that was like, "You need to eat some meat." Every time, every appointment I had, "You need to eat some meat, at least some fish." And I had to tell this man, "I don't eat meat. Like, I'm not gonna eat it because you told me to." Oh my God.
But you did end up eating eggs again.
Yes, I did eat eggs. I did my research and I realized that eggs have a lot of vitamins and omegas and all that good stuff that you need. So I ate the eggs for my baby.
And you enjoyed that deliciousness.
Of course, I ate eggs before. I love eggs. I love eggs.
Nah, but the way I prepared those eggs for you.
What? How?
You know, like fried with the cheese and the mayo and the mustard on the toasted bread. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to front.
I did like them.
It's better than the deli. You know what I mean?
We had a lot of daily breakfast sandwiches too. So
We did though. How was it learning about the baby's development while she was still in the womb?
you mean on all those apps you downloaded?
On all those apps we downloaded.
It was pretty cool because I liked how those apps compared a baby to a watermelon and mangoes and all different types of fruits. So that really put stuff into perspective for me.
Mm-hmm.
We named our daughter Neesberry when she was in the belly because that was my favorite fruit as a kid.
How did your body start to change?
Well, when my stomach started stretching, it got really itchy around that part. You know, how did my body change? I don't think my body changed a lot. I just started walking like a penguin after like 7 months.
That's a pretty drastic change.
Yeah, it is. Oh, and my hip started hurting. My left hip.
So what would you say was the worst months and what was the best months?
The best months were around 6 months and 7 months
Why?
because I didn't feel any pain. My belly was showing, so it looked good. I had my little belly poking that thing out.
So when you say pain, before 6 months, what type of pain were you feeling?
Oh, like nausea, belly stretching. But the back pain didn't come until the baby got heavy, around 8, 9 months,
Hmm.
10 months.
So I'm assuming that those were the worst months.
Yeah. The 9th month up until birth was the worst. I mean, you remember I could barely walk. You had to drag me out the house to go to the store so I could get some exercise. And I was like holding on to him and waddling crazy. And I'm like this skinny. My belly was this big. This is what I look like. This is the baby and this is me.
Like a capital P.
Yeah, that's what I look like walking down the street.
What are your best memories from pregnancy?
That's a good question. I think the morning smoothies that you made and being at school with the kids and like reading to them. I usually sit on a beanbag because it was more comfortable for me. Laying on a beanbag and having the kids pass me stuff. That's pretty good.
How was it for you feeling your first kick?
I was pretty excited. I think we were in the car on the way to work and I felt something flutter and I was like, she's kicking. But then I read later that those are just flutters and it's not a kick. But when I really started seeing her footprint like coming out the shirt, man, I just thought it was so cool. Like, how can a person be alive in my stomach? Just living there in my fluids. It's so weird.
How did it feel like to know that you were about to be a mother? Or I guess that you were a mother.
It didn't really hit until way after she was born. I still felt like a kid even when I was pregnant. So it felt like there's no way that I could be someone's mother. I have my own mother. I'm my mother's baby. How am I supposed to have a baby? It didn't really hit. It did not register. And you could ask anyone. I didn't act like, I don't know how a pregnant woman is supposed to act. But I was still like hula hooping with the kids, running up and down the stairs, playing rough with children.
Don't forget that party we went to.
Oh, yes. I was going to parties. I went to the staff party and danced my butt off. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine what I looked like with that big old belly dancing, bending over and whatnot.
How was the baby shower?
Well, the baby shower was amazing. I did not know that we were so loved. So many people turned up, and who couldn't make it sent gifts. Every single hour of the day, there was packages coming in from Amazon, from our registry. And people just called us and showed us so much love. The food was good. My mom went all out. She was like, "This is my first grandchild." I had to stop her from doing too much. But it was amazing. People came to help set up. I really didn't have to do anything.
Like you were gonna do anything anyway.
I did computer stuff. Like I did the invites. Anything that requires typing, I did that. The agenda.
Anything you could do with your fingers.
Yeah. I use my fingers a lot.
That's
Pause.
Okay. We didn't really talk about your worst months. What was that like? And why was it the worst?
The worst months were 8, 9, and then the last month of being pregnant, because I felt like I couldn't breathe. And whenever I ate something, it felt like it was right here. It just stopped right there because my stomach was in the way of the food going down. I don't know, but it felt really weird. All I wanted to eat was water and ice. I chewed on ice every day for the last month. Gatorade ice, seltzer water ice. I didn't even want anything too sweet. I don't know. It was just weird. And the main reason is because I couldn't eat what I wanted to eat.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any cravings?
No, I didn't have any cravings.
What myths that you heard about, I guess that got demystified through pregnancy for yourself? If does that question even make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. What myths? Well, the craving thing. I thought I was going to have a craving because everyone said they have a craving. I didn't have any cravings. That's the only one.
That's the only one? Okay. I guess you had morning sickness and all that stuff.
Oh, morning sickness? Yes, I did have morning sickness for like the first 2 months.
Mm. Did you have, what they call that, baby brain or something like that?
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't have any baby brain. But whenever I messed up in life, I just blame it on that. Anytime I'm running late, I'm like, baby, I'm pregnant. But I really I'm naturally forgetful. So that stuff wasn't pregnancy. But people chalked it up to that, so I was like, okay.
All right, let's get into the nitty gritty. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Pregnant, 9, 10 months that went by. What was that last week like before she was born?
That last week was hilarious. We were actually at work. We just started going back to work for, to set up our classrooms for the beginning of the school year. And I couldn't walk. I mean, this baby was heavier than me. And so from my step foot into the school building, he has to bring me up the stairs. And then he has to get a rolly chair, one of those teacher rolly chairs for me to sit on. And people are just rolling me back and forth through the hallways all day. We had to go from my classroom to a meeting, and my co-teacher would push me all the way to the meeting on the other side of the school. If I needed to go to the bathroom, one of my coworkers' sons, he would wheel me all the way to the bathroom and wheel me back to the meeting. I mean, it was fun. Whenever we had to get food, someone would always bring me a plate or wheel me to the line so I could get in front. Yeah, I felt VIP.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of people were really looking out during the entire pregnancy, like people coming through, bringing you fruit, or
Yeah.
even notifying me, like if you weren't feeling well. Um, yeah, shout out to all y'all.
Yeah, thank you guys for that. I didn't know. You know what? The moms were very understanding. They knew that it was going to be a rough process. They knew what I needed before I knew what I needed. So we had a few of the teacher moms and a few of the staff moms who would just bring me fruit and salad every day. When I took my kids down for lunch, the lunch ladies will make me a salad on the side because they knew that I needed those nutrients for the baby. I was like, people are just so thoughtful. I didn't expect this. And then the men in the building would ask me if I need anything. If I needed to put something up high, they'll be right there to hang it up for me.
How was it flying while you were pregnant?
Oh my goodness. Bro. Remember in our last video where we told y'all about that flight, that JetBlue flight to Kingston, Jamaica? Go back and watch that one. That's what happened while I was pregnant, 5 months pregnant, on my way to Jamaica to go see my family. Go back and watch that one. I'm not even going to say anything here.
Well, how was it in Jamaica being pregnant?
Oh, it was fun. Oh my gosh, Jamaicans are so funny when you're pregnant. Everybody wants to predict what the gender is going to be. Everyone is like, oh, it's a girl. I can tell by the way your belly's sitting. I'm like, great. How did you know? But people are also very accommodating. We went to the beach one day, and I was just walking around on the sand like everybody else, and someone offered me one of those nice laid back beach chairs to lay on for free, and I was like, thank you. She was like, take a load off, you're pregnant, lay down. I was like, I'm not arguing with you.
Talk to us about the days leading up to birth.
But I was very uncomfortable. I didn't want to be anywhere. I liked getting outside because I knew that would stimulate the baby's movement, probably move her closer to the birth canal. So I remember us, like the day she was due, we went out for a walk that night, and it really hurt. I couldn't sleep. I barely slept. I had to sleep sitting up because it was just so uncomfortable. And then the day I started having my contractions, we had just left work on our way home. We got in the car. We were on Eastern Parkway. And then I just knew that these are the real ones. They were 4 minutes apart. I was like, Greg, let's time it. They kept being 4 minutes apart until we got closer to home. Then they started being like 2-3 minutes apart. So as soon as we got home, I took a shower, put on something comfortable, and we waited for a while, and then we headed to the hospital, right? My mom came, his mom came, and our family friend's daughter came because she was staying with us while her mom was away.
During pregnancy, when things got hard, what helped you sleep best?
Your massages and foot rubs. Yeah. And we used to watch our shows together. And then you watch Hey Arnold. Every night you put on Hey Arnold so we could go to sleep. That was pretty cool. That was a little bit of consistency.
Mm. So that night, going into the hospital, did you relive that experience for us?
Okay, all I remember was we walked into the front of the hospital because we already took a tour of the hospital. We knew where to go. We walked into the front. We were like, I'm having contractions. I'm about to give birth. So they were like, all right, go to the emergency room first so you can check in. So we all walked to the emergency room. They immediately put me on a wheelchair. And they were like, how are you feeling? And I was like, I'm fine. And they were like, oh, you're pretty calm for someone who's having contractions. Are you sure? I was like, yeah. They were like 2 minutes apart. And they were down to 1 minute, I think, when we got there. So they wheeled me up to the maternity section to go check in. Then they put me on this stretcher bed to lay on while they monitored me. They hooked up the little listening device, and I was just there. Oh my gosh. I was just there having contractions the whole time. He was taking videos of me, pictures. My eyes were like rolled back like this. I looked terrible. But I think I was there for a few hours until it started getting really, like really bad. Like they started hurting so bad that I was screaming. They had the nurse come in to check how dilated I was. I think I was about halfway there. They wanted to send me home, but I was like, no. So I was about halfway there. So they transferred me over to the labor and delivery ward. Got me set up, and they had a nurse come in, a new nurse come in and put the IV into my vein, and she missed the first couple of times. So now I'm irritated. She put it in halfway. It looked terrible. They hooked up the fluid, all of that stuff. And I just remembered a bunch of nurses coming in and out asking me questions. And the one thing that really made me mad was that they kept offering me epidural. And not only were they offering me epidural, they were highly recommending me taking it, even after I told them that I don't want to. And they were like, but it'll make the pain go away. And I'm like, I'm okay with the pain. I don't mind the pain. I don't want the epidural. But then they will go get another nurse to come convince me to take it. And I'm just like, what's with everybody in epidural? Like, leave me alone. I was just so irritated because of that one thing. And then my mom was like siding with them, talking about I should take it. And I was just like, just please. I didn't want anybody there but Greg. But I didn't know how to tell them to leave. Next child, I'm going to be a lot meaner. Promise. No one's going to be there.
Dang. What do you mean?
Just you. No, you could be there. You were actually helpful. He was rubbing my back, rubbing my feet, holding my hands. He was just perfect, making sure I had everything I needed. Everybody else was annoying me.
Yeah, she wasn't that real, screaming type. Leave me alone. She did say, what did you say? I am breathing or something?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was later on, but
I am breathing.
Yeah, people tell you what to do. Everybody in the hospital thinks they know, but only you know your body. People kept trying to tell me what to do and how to feel. I was just like, no, I am listening to my body. I don't want that. This is how I feel, and just leave it at that.
How did it feel when you knew that the baby was coming?
Oh, I was so scared. I was scared and excited. My biggest thought was, oh my gosh, get it out of me. At one point I was like, can you just cut it out? But they were like, no, you're gonna push. But once I felt this sharp pain of her body moving down inside of me, I was like, oh my gosh, she's coming. And then the contractions were uncontrollable at that point. It was just like something else takes over your body. My body's contracting, but I can't do anything about it. I can't like stop and breathe. I can't do anything. And then the nurses and the doctor wasn't there. The nurses were telling me, just breathe. And I was like, I am breathing. How else am I alive? Oh my God. They tell you to do everything. So that was pretty irritating. I just wanted to let my body do its thing, how I wanted to do it. But of course, I wasn't there before. I've never given birth before, so I had to listen anyway.
You want to tell them how you pooped in my face?
Yep. So as I was pushing, I felt the urge to poop. So I called the nurse. First, I told my mom and Greg, like, I gotta poop. I'm in distress now. Like, I look a mess. I'm like, I gotta poop. My mom was like, oh, yeah. You're supposed to feel that way. And I was like, no, tell the nurse I gotta poop. Tell her to bring one of those bedpans so I could poop in it or something. The nurse was like, no, you're fine. That's the sensation you get when the baby's coming. That's all that means. And I was like, no, it's not a sensation. I really have to poop.
No, she was like, I gotta poop.
Why did they listen to me?
She's like, I gotta poop.
And then in my mind, I made up my mind. I was like, I'm not telling them anymore. I'm just gonna poop. So I just turned to the side and I was like.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting on a stool, and the stool is literally like my head is like bed high to her butt, and I just turned and she's just pooping in my face. Okay, all right. And then the doctor comes in. Oh, she's passing feces. Oh, that baby's coming. Like,
so my mom goes to try to clean up the poop. The doctor's like, no, let the nurses get it, as they should, because I told them. We could have avoided this whole situation if they just listened to me.
I didn't need that.
I'm sorry I pooped in your face.
No, I didn't need that. I could have lived without that.
Oh my God. Oh, good times.
All right. So, what was it like giving birth?
Oh my goodness. It was just painful and annoying, and I was hot. I was irritated. I hated everybody, but I loved everybody. It hurt like hell. It felt like I got hit by a truck. I felt like I had no control over the amount of pain my body was going through. So I was exhausted. I mean, oh my gosh, I was pushing and I couldn't feel myself pushing. The doctor was like, keep pushing. I was like, I'm not even pushing, I'm just here. And he's like, no, you are pushing. I just kept saying, And then the doctor was like, the baby's coming. My mom was like, oh, I see the head. And I was like, I guess if I keep saying, that's all they need, maybe the baby will come out. Okay. But I couldn't feel anything. It was the pain was, the feeling of the pain was stronger than anything that my body was doing. So they told me I was pushing, so I believed them. So when my mom told me that she can see the head, I asked Greg if he could see the head. He said yes. And I didn't even care, for real. Everybody was all excited, and I'm like, just get her out of me. What are y'all laughing for? This is y'all wasting time. So I was like, I told the doctor, can you just put your hand in there and pull her out? And he's like, no, you got to push again. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to push again. I just pushed. The nurses are like, you can do it. Count with me. Push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She counted to 10 with me. I was like, okay, that's kind of helpful, but still annoying. So the nurse is like, one more big push. Now the baby's head is out. Her body's still in. She's like, okay, just one more big push. You did it. One more. I was like, I don't have any more. I don't have any more. I can't do it. And everyone's encouraging me like, yes, you can. You can do it. You have to do it. It's for your baby. And I was just like, that's how the last push went. And then I just saw the doctor pull out a whole baby. He turned her upside down, held her by the feet. Then her arms spread out wide like this. She looked like Jesus on the cross, upside down. And she started crying. She was so cute. Actually, she wasn't cute.
Her head came out warped. I was like, what's happening?
She was so long. She looked so long, and she had, all the vaginal stuff around her, stuff from the placenta. A little bit of blood. I was just like, wow. She just looked like any other baby, like a potato.
And I had to cut the umbilical cord, and blood flooded everywhere.
Yes. That wasn't cute. I thought cutting the umbilical cord would be something, like real nice and easy, just snip. How did it feel cutting that thing? Was it like rubbery and tight, or did it feel like cutting skin?
Yeah, it was like cutting through flesh. Like it was like
chicken meat.
Yeah, it was like.
And then all the blood splashed in my face.
Me too. Oh man.
I had blood on my forehead the whole hospital stay because I didn't shower.
And speaking of cutting,
Oh my gosh. Here's where it gets gross, ladies. While I was pushing, my vajayjay ripped. But even before it ripped, the doctor had already cut me. He already cut my vagina some so the baby's head could fit. Because I got a little tight vajayjay. It's very tight. So he already knew. This was my first child too. He already knew that, I was gonna tear. So he cut it a little bit so it wouldn't tear. But then it still tore. And it tore deep inside. Of course, I didn't feel any of this while I was pushing. But after the baby came out, they put her on my chest. I held her. She was so cute. Did I give her a titty right away? Yeah, I had to.
Mm-hmm.
I gave her a titty. She took it right away. Oh, greedy self. I love her.
Latched on perfect.
And he just started sewing my vajayjay back together. And he was like, this is not going to hurt. He gave me an injection to numb it. He started sewing that. I felt the thread going through my flesh. And I was like, I thought you said I wasn't going to feel it. And he was like, no, it's just a touch. And I was like, I can feel every time you push the needle in and pull the thread out. And I was like, why do people keep lying to me? I felt so betrayed. You could have said that I was going to feel it. Don't tell me I'm not going to feel anything, because I felt everything. But anyway, he sewed me back together, and it took way longer than I was comfortable with. Ugh.
And I think that when dudes pass out, it's probably when they cut her. Because just listening to the sound of the scissors tearing through the skin, like,
yeah, that sounded weird.
eek.
I mean, but when you're having contractions and you want that baby to come out, that's nothing compared to the pain you're feeling. I'm like, oh, I'm getting cut. Cool. Open up the space. Let her drop out.
So right after birth, I remember, seeing a little light in that little bed.
Little bassinet thing.
Yeah, a little bassinet with her little cap on. Make sure her head don't come out like a bullet. Yours. And then they started to wheel you out. And I picked up the phone and it played the music. I don't know if you remember that.
What music?
They played some music throughout the hospital to let everybody know that a girl was born.
Oh, yes. Oh.
You remember that?
No, I didn't remember that. I care about no damn music.
I didn't know what it was for anyway. They was just like, pick up the phone. And I was like, why? And then the music started playing. I was like, oh, okay. I hung it up. But anyway, talk to us after birth, still in the hospital.
Okay, so they wheeled me out of the labor and delivery and took me to the maternity ward. First, they took me to the shared room. It was like 3 other mothers in there who had just given birth, and they're wheeling me, the 4th one, in. And it's them and their significant others, or their families, and they have food and they're eating, and they have their little kids running around. And I was like, I just went through the most traumatic experience of my life. I can't listen to people right now talking to each other. I can't. So that's when Greg went and spoke to someone to go try to get us a private room. But it cost some money. How much did you have to pay for that private room?
I think it was like $200 a night, $300 a night, something like that.
But I was like, naturally, I'm very cheap.
What you mean? You didn't have no choice in the matter. You was asleep. I paid for it anyway. I was just like, nah, we just gonna get this private room. I don't care what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
It was like everything was divided by a sheet. It was kids playing and stuff. And I was like, nah, that's not the space for that. Like I need some intimacy. You just had a baby.
Yeah, I was so exhausted, guys. I knocked out. I don't even remember patches of things that happened. He has to fill me in. But I know that when we got upstairs to the private room, Was it upstairs or was it around the corner?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was upstairs.
I think it was downstairs, but I don't remember.
Someone told me it was around the corner.
I remember we got on the elevator and then we got off and then we went.
No, we got on the elevator after I gave birth. And then we got to the maternity ward. They put me in a shared room. And from the shared room to the private room, I think it was on the same floor.
It was.
Or just on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Because someone told me that after.
I thought
like
you meant from after you gave birth.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it was around the corner.
But yeah, I slept that whole time. Where was the baby?
She was...
Oh, she went to that place where they wash the babies.
Yes.
I don't even know where that is.
Me neither.
Never seen that place.
But yeah, you were asleep the entire time we moved you.
Yeah. It's exhausting. Like, I had nothing left. So anyways, we got to the private room. They transferred me to this nice bed that moves whenever I move to make me feel comfortable. It's pretty cool. I think I just laid down and got some rest. Greg was there laying on the little pull-out chair thing they got for him. It was mad little.
Oh, that was horrible.
They hooked me up to some iron because I lost a lot of blood. So they gave me like 2 bags of iron to replenish whatever I was missing. They put that in my IV. And then I think a few hours later, someone brought the baby up and they put her bassinet next to me. And I remember just looking at the bassinet and I was thinking, I can't even pick her up. I was so weak. I could only look through the bassinet. I didn't want to pick her up. I didn't have the energy to do anything. I was just happy that she was safe and that she was with us in the room. But then the nurses would come in and put the baby on me so that she can get used to me. And whenever she was ready for feeding, I'll breastfeed her and then put her back in.
So we're in the private suite. Me, you, baby's in there. What happens?
Okay, so I had to use the bathroom. And so I called the nurse using the little call button. The nurse comes in and I told her I wanted to use a bedpan because it'll be easier for me to just dispose of it. Well, her to dispose of it. But she's trying to encourage me to, get my strength back. So she was like, the walk will help. It'll help you practice how to walk again. So I was just like, here we go again. People telling me what to do and me not saying no. So I got up. I walked with her to the bathroom. I used the bathroom. I washed my hands. By the way, using the bathroom, whole nother level. It's not that, it's not as simple as it sounds, okay? Using the bathroom is taking down that weird maternity underwear they give you. That's like see-through. Taking off the pads that stick to it. They give you like 2 big maternity pads to catch all the blood and afterbirth fluids. And then you gotta spray the area because I just got sewn up with needles and thread. You gotta spray the area. I don't even know, some antibacterial spray.
Some sanitizing spray.
Some sanitizing spray, whatever it is. And I think there was a cream too to help the wound heal faster. So there was all of that. I didn't even want to use the bathroom. It was just too much. Oh, and then there's a bottle of water, a spray bottle of water. That's what you got to use because you can't wipe because you have a cut. You have an open wound. You can't wipe. So I had to use a spray bottle to spray the water around to wash the area. And then put on clean pads, the little, you remember that?
The spray, the ointment. And
that little pad that they put under you so you don't wet the bed or whatever.
Yeah. I forgot what those are called.
I had like 3 layers on. But you have to do all of that. So I'm now finished doing all of that. I'm washing my hands. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. And then I just got dizzy. So I told the nurse, I don't feel like I'm gonna make it to the bed. But she's trying to encourage me to just, put one foot in front of the other. You're gonna make it. This is normal. Mothers always feel like this after they give birth. So it's like, okay, if I got to fold to the bed, I got to get there because I just want to be in there laying down right now. And so I put one foot in front of the other. When I got to the door of the bathroom, both my knees just gave in. Like I just started going down. And that's when she tried to grab me to hold me up. And I think she got one other nurse to help her. They put me on a chair. And my wheelchair was still in the room. So one of them went to get my wheelchair. They sat me on the wheelchair and rolled me back to the bed. Then they were like, don't go to the bathroom without a wheelchair anymore.
That was the second time.
No, that was the first time.
Mm-mm.
Wasn't the second time a real chair? It wasn't a wheelchair. The second time was a real chair that I sat in.
Was it?
Yeah. Because the wheelchair was no longer in the room.
Well, wasn't the first time she pulled the thing and then a bunch of nurses came?
That was the second time, yeah.
No, that was the first time.
No, that was
the second time I didn't go to sleep.
When I had the seizure?
Mm-hmm. So I missed the first time. And that's when she pulled the thing out of the wall. The second time I caught you.
And you called them?
No, I didn't call anybody. I was right. I was there. I
But
caught
who
you.
Came after I had the seizure? Doctors and nurses came.
Well, because somebody left to go get them because they was like, this is the second time.
Oh, it was you and the nurse.
Yeah, but I caught you the second time because I was like, I just wasn't about to be asleep again.
So they did sit me down the first time.
From what I remember, the first time when I woke up, you were in the bed. Because remember, I was knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember you just being in the bed. Yeah,
I thought that was when I had the seizure that we woke up.
The second time I was already awake because I was too frightened. So I didn't even want to go back to sleep. So when you had to go to the bathroom again, I was up. And when you had the seizure, I was right there, like looking at you. And when you started to go down, I just leaned forward and I caught you. And then that's when I put you in the chair.
Oh. Yeah. Well, you had to piece that together for me because it was all a blur.
Yeah, I remember that. That was crazy because, looking at you, you look normal. Like I couldn't tell that anything was wrong with you.
When I had the seizure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a seizure for they said it lasted about 7 seconds. A whole bunch of nurses and doctors came in. So now I was on high alert watch. So whenever I needed anything, 10 people showed up. Are you okay?
Yeah.
And then even after that, they had to give me a blood transfusion. Did I get the blood transfusion first?
Nah, you got the blood transfusion, I think the next morning.
Yeah, because my doctor had to come approve it.
Mm-hmm.
Approve of it. So I had 2 iron transfusions because I lost so much blood, and I passed out. They thought I passed out because I had low blood iron. I got 2 iron transfusions, 2 big bags of iron pumped into my body. Then I had a bag of blood, somebody else's blood, pumped into my body. I remember asking a nurse, "Is this somebody else's blood?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I asked her, "Am I gonna start acting like that person?"
Watch too much TV.
I know.
Way too much TV.
I was really curious though. I heard that happens.
You had the seizures. You had the iron transfusion, blood transfusion. After all that, how'd you feel?
I still felt like I was wrecked. My body didn't feel like mine anymore. I felt like this bone right here was working. Like my chest bone was in place. And I felt like it was connected to my neck, which was connected to my head. But the rest of me was just floating along behind me.
Mm-hmm.
My arms didn't work. That stupid IV that was hooked up in here, it was done wrong. It was paining the whole time. I had to call one of the nurses to replace it. My legs were unusable. I had to use a wheelchair everywhere. So I just felt like the only place I had control of was my chest, my neck, and my head. Everywhere else was just there.
So how did it feel? How did it feel? When did you start to, come back to yourself? Like when everything started to work?
like totally fully functioning.
Yeah.
I would say about 4 months later.
Jeez. Well, I guess staying in the hospital. I guess, did you feel ready to leave when it was time to go?
I wanted to go back home, yes, but the hospital was kind of comfortable. I like that bed. So I kind of wanted to stay for that. And then the room service, that was great.
How did that I guess Light's first ride?
The first ride back home.
Yeah.
Oh man. We had our baby in the car seat next to me. She was all brand new and little, and her skin was all flaky and pink. It felt surreal. I was like, oh my gosh, we're driving back home with a baby. We came here without one.
What was the ambiance like in your room?
In the hospital room.
Yeah.
It was great. It was so quiet, and Greg was playing classical music the whole time, and that's something that he would always play when I was pregnant. So I think the baby she was used to it at that point. So it was pretty soothing. Yeah, it was quiet. It was just us two. No annoying people. It was amazing. My mom came a few times to bring us food. That was great. She brought us some good breakfast. Put some strength in my body. Some cornmeal porridge, plantains, a salad. She hooked it up.
Yes, she did.
She brought you some like rice and peas and stuff.
What was it like moving while you were pregnant?
Oh. Okay, so what he's talking about was we were moving from one house to the next. We had just bought a house. It was not stressful for me at all because I didn't do anything. How did it feel for you? Shoot. I was chilling watching people move stuff. Like, it got nothing to do with me.
How was the transition though? Like, was it easy for you?
Yeah, I was happy to be in a new space. We moved into a bigger room, so I like a lot of space.
So I only got 2 weeks leave.
You mad?
No.
Oh.
Jealous. How was it for you during those 2 weeks I was there, and how was it different after I went back to work?
Good question. All right, so for the 2 weeks that you were here for your paternity leave, I was very grateful because my body was still hurting. And I mean, as you know, there was very little that I could do. I could barely even hold a baby unless I was sitting down. And so if I had to move to go to the bathroom, I was still dizzy, even though I was home. He would still have to escort me to the bathroom, escort me to the kitchen. Whatever I had to do, he was always there. Especially because I had just passed out and had a seizure in the hospital. He was like really watching me, which felt really comfortable. And then he had to go back to work 2 weeks later. At first, I started panicking. Like, what am I going to do? Who's going to help me while I'm home? But I mean, as a mom, you just got to do what you got to do. You got to figure it out. I pretty much sat in bed most of the time. Anything I needed, I put it close next to the bed. And when I needed to go to the bathroom, I would just hold on to the walls and take my time. The baby would be in the bassinet. She wasn't moving at the time. She was only a week old. Well, 3 weeks old.
So what did you do with all that time?
I started watching YouTube, and then I discovered Instagram. So I was like, let me see what this Instagram thing is all about. It was very inspiring. I decided to make our Instagram page, TeacherMomandDad.
So thinking about after giving birth, you left the hospital. You said that it took like 4 months for you to feel like you got your limbs back.
Yeah.
How long did it take to feel like all of you were back?
A year. Yeah, like I just started feeling like myself again. Like I just started feeling like I had never even have given birth. So yeah, I was disabled for a year.
What type of body changes happened that you didn't expect?
So I thought my stomach was gonna bounce back. Yeah, I lied. So after the baby comes out, you still have that little pouch, right? It takes its time, it goes down, but then there's this excess skin that's there, and you got to look at it every day. Then you got to learn to love it. I mean, when she got to like about a year, the skin started like going away slowly but surely. But now the skin, I feel like it's gonna be forever loose. It's only been 15 months, but it's still kind of loose. It's still there. When I eat, it pokes out more than before I gave birth. Oh yeah, and the titties. I breastfed my daughter for an entire year. So now my titties don't poke people in the eye anymore. They kind of just sit there like this.
How was breastfeeding?
I had a love-hate relationship with breastfeeding. Here's why. I love the connection that I made with my baby. I mean, there's no better feeling in the world than holding your baby like this and just watching her suck your titty. There's no better feeling. It's just amazing. I love feeding her. But then the pain that comes from having engorged breasts. I had to go back to work after 3 months. And while I'm teaching, my breasts would like fill up with milk and it would hurt so bad. My nipples would hurt. It was just so painful. I didn't want anyone to touch me anywhere close to here. It was very painful. But then I loved like feeding her. It was hard for me to actually break that breastfeeding thing. But I just had to. It came to a point where it hurt too much. It became too uncomfortable. I didn't want to give her the breast anymore. And so I just stopped when she was about 11 and a half months.
Is she too big for you now?
Yes. Yes, my daughter is a big baby. Or maybe I'm just a small mom. I don't know. But if I hold her, she's about as big as this pillow. She's way too long for me. I can't hold her anymore. She's too heavy. So only daddy carries her. I mean, I hold her on my hip, but not for too long because then my arms will start hurting.
What type of advice would you give to moms to be?
All the things that people told me and didn't tell me. So be prepared to feel the worst pain you've ever felt in your life. Be prepared to know that one of you may not come out alive, or both of you may not come out alive. Because, I mean, giving birth is basically coming close to death. So be prepared for that. Be prepared to be disabled. It's okay if you can't do things for yourself. Let someone else do it. It's going to hurt. I mean, I know some people say that every birth is different, but just be prepared for the worst so that when if it does come out better, then at least you won't be disappointed. I would say breastfeeding is lovely, but if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Basically, do what you want to do what you feel like doing, and don't let anybody tell you to do anything that you don't want to do. You are in control of your body. Listen to your body and go with what your body tells you to do.
Then find yourself a grip.
Yeah, find yourself a smoothie making husband. You carry all your stuff and rub your feet and rub your shoulders and tell you that he loves you every hour. Good luck to all you new moms and moms to be. It's rough out here, but you can do it. I believe in you.
Me too. I have a lot of respect for mothers after, going through this entire process with her. witnessing the sacrifice of her own body to bring new life. It's really amazing. And yeah, I wouldn't do it.
You can't.
Yeah, I can't do it. But yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. I can't say I wouldn't do it if I was a woman. But yeah, I can't do it. So it's a lot of respect to all the women who choose to do it.
We need to find a way to make men have babies. Scientists, please attention. We can send men to the moon. We can make them have babies.
Shout out to T1 Hundo for these dope shirts, broke and bored.
What does that say? Broke mad?
No, this says skate moss.
Oh, skate moss. Oh, like skate more.
Yes. Oh, it's broken board on the back. Oh, my bad.
So it's broke and the board, A and D? Oh, it's broke and the board. I thought it was broke in with the letter N. Broke and board.
Broke and, like you broke and you bored. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't
like,
it broken board before? Because it was literally a broken skateboard on it.
It's a play on words. That's the whole skateboard.
Yeah, but I thought the brand was broken board. Did he change it to broke and board? I bet he did.
If you like this video, remember to give it a
Thumbs up
and subscribe to hear more.